Hey YouTube, this is Allie, and part of why I started a YouTube channel again was because I had a miscarriage, and I wanted to take a second just to talk about my first pregnancy and my miscarriage because honestly, people who talked about that on YouTube really helped me deal with this. And it felt better not being alone, which is kind of horrible, but to know that it's a normal thing that happens. And it makes me sad that there are probably a lot of people out there who feel lonely or like it's their fault or they did something because they just don't know how common it was. I had no idea where to start. So, last July, my husband and I got married, and I started tracking my period because we wanted to try to have a baby pretty soon. So, I think it was, July, I had like downloaded a tracking app and done some research, but wasn't really doing it because I was getting married and we had family vacation and lots of guests at our house, so I wasn't really focused on it. And then, my next cycle, which started in August, I was like, okay, I'm really going to track, I'm going to take my temperature, just so I can get a sense of like how long my cycle is and all that kind of stuff. And I got pregnant, like right away. And it was super exciting. We found out during my best friend's wedding weekend, and we were at my parents' house, and we told my parents, and we told my friends, and my close friends, and we told my husband's parents, and it was all really exciting. And I had known that I was pregnant. I knew from basically the moment I got pregnant. Smells were really intense. I was feeling nauseous a lot. We have this curvy road by our house that we drive up all the time, and I had to pull over 4 times to throw up. And I just thought, like, it's not a coincidence. It has to be pregnancy. And it was great and exciting. And we made our doctor appointment, and at the appointment, it wasn't even really seeing a doctor. It was seeing this education specialist or something like that. And we were so stoked and excited to talk about it. And I knew exactly when I got pregnant because I'd been tracking. And right then is when I realized, like, this might not go as smoothly as I wanted, because the education specialist was not excited for us. She was just very like, well, all right, you're pregnant. Let's see if this works out. And at the time, I thought, like, it was something about me that she was judging. Like, oh my God, you think I'm going to have a miscarriage because of something I'm doing? What is it? Kind of, like, explain it to me. But anyway, she wasn't that excited. And that was at, like, 5 weeks that I had that appointment. And then the day I turned 6 weeks, all my symptoms went away. And on the app I had, you can ask other people about their experiences and they can answer you back. And some people said, that's fine, that happens. Another person said, sometimes it's fine, it happens. That happened to me and I had a miscarriage. But I knew instantly that something was wrong. And I called the doctor's office because I wasn't supposed to have a scan thing until I was 10 weeks. And I called the doctor's office and I said, I know that there's something wrong. I just can tell. And, the doctor's office says, well, new moms are always worried and it's hard to really tell, and symptoms come and go, and enjoy it for now, because when you start vomiting, you're going to miss this. But I just knew something wasn't right. So fast forward to 8 weeks. We had just had a rainstorm, and I had to take out the dogs in the morning. And I wasn't being super careful, and I was really tired, and I fell off of our porch down our porch stairs. and it hurt so bad. I thought I had, like, broken a hip. Like, that is really what I thought. And it was still almost dark outside, and I just screamed and screamed for my husband, and thank God he woke up, and he came outside and had to carry me back in the house, and I was so petrified. Like, what if I had done something to the baby? You know, it was my first pregnancy, so I didn't know that, you know, that early it wouldn't have been anything. But I went to the bathroom. This is where things start to get gross. So if you're not good with, like, blood and pregnancy stuff, leave. But I went to the bathroom and had started, like not bleeding, but, like, leaking this orange stuff. Not red, not pink. Like, highlighter orange. And so we called my husband's mom, who's a nurse, and she said that it could be the prenatal I was taking, and that the orange could have just been, like, leftover colored urine or something like that. And obviously she's not here, and we didn't take a picture and send it, but I didn't feel like that's what it was. But I tried to put my mind at ease. And then we drove an hour and a half to go to the closest city to us to go shopping. And we were leaving town, and we always stop to grab donuts before we leave town. And we were leaving, and I said to my husband, you know, I really have to go to the bathroom. Like, this is an emergency. I have to go to the bathroom really bad. So we pull over at the fire station they have at the edge of town there, because my husband's a volunteer fireman, and he thought he could get me in to use their bathroom. And the guy was so sweet. He let me in to the back, and I just, like, pulled down my shorts to go to the bathroom, and there's blood, like real red, bright blood, all over the inside of my shorts. And I start to, like, well up. I wipe, clean, flush, go outside, and tell my husband we have to go to the emergency room now. So I go to the emergency room. They can't get the IV to work. I'm, like, calling to try to get a substitute to come into my classroom, which stunk and was super stressful for the next, like, I was trying to get a sub for the next day. This was a Sunday. And, so eventually they take us back to have the baby scan, and she's taking these photos, and we get back to the little hospital hallway that they have me sitting in, and a doctor comes and says, you know, the fetus is measuring at 6 weeks, and that's exactly, you know, you could exactly be there. You know, we never really know when we get pregnant. And, you know, I was trying to think to myself, like, all these doctors keep telling me I don't know what's going on or what my body's doing or when I got pregnant. But I knew when I got pregnant because I was tracking. I knew. And I was supposed to be at 8 weeks. And I had in my head kind of decided that I could be as early as 7 weeks because I have a longer cycle than most people. So instead of 2 weeks till ovulation, I had 3 weeks till ovulation. So I was thinking 7 weeks would be the minimum. And here, this baby is measuring at 6 weeks, but they said the heartbeat was fine and that I should check in with my doctor the next day. So I have this awesome co-teacher, and she took all my students the next day so that I could go to the doctor's office, which was amazing. I went to the doctor's office, and they said the fetus was measuring 6 weeks and 1 day, so there was growth, and, you know, just to be hopeful. So we left. And they told us to come back for our 10-week appointment. So then we got home, and I started having brown spotting. And the doctor said if it's not red, and, so combined, if it's not red, and I'm not bleeding through a pad an hour, I'm fine. So I thought that that meant fine, right? Fine. You'll be, if you're not doing that, you're fine. So I thought that that meant that the baby was also fine if that wasn't happening. So I have this brown spotting. I call the doctor. They just always keep telling me if you're not bleeding through a pad an hour, you're fine. If you're not bleeding through a pad an hour, you're fine. And I said, okay, well then we must be fine. And so 2 weeks go by, and the brown spotting doesn't stop. My symptoms don't come back. I'm trying to just have, you know, I'm trying to be positive. I'm just trying to keep my head up, and this is so stupid. We decide that since town is so far away, like getting to the city is so far, we need to get all this stuff done at once. So the same day I'm going to have this 10-week scan, we also decide that Pat should take the car in. And so we get to the doctor's office. They're busy, and someone before me in line had something more serious come up, and they needed to attend to her, and I understand that. But our appointment was running late, so Pat had to leave to go take, Pat is my husband, he had to leave to go take the car in. They take me back, they scan. Now the, what did they call it? The tissue was measuring like 5 weeks and 2 days. So I had already passed some of the baby, which was really hard to hear. I was crying. Pat wasn't there. To no fault of his own. That was our decision together. I just felt so sad and ashamed and alone and upset. And so the doctor, asked, do you want, do you want a pill to move this along, or do you want to schedule a D&C? And I said, it's been 2 weeks or more since this has been going wrong, and it hasn't handled itself, so I want to get a D&C. And so we scheduled it for another week away. And then she says, the only thing you have to look out for is if you're bleeding through a pad an hour. And I said, well, I thought that was just in case I was having a miscarriage, and I've already had one, or I'm having one. And she said, oh, no, that's, that would be you bleeding out. And I felt so upset because, or not bleeding out, but, it would be danger to me. And I just felt like everyone was telling me that before, if this isn't happening, then the baby is fine. But it wasn't about the baby. Anyway, so, I texted another one of my best friends, and I texted her that there wasn't a baby anymore, and she just instantly asked, what can I do for you? And I asked her to text our other sorority sisters who I had told, because I just didn't want to talk to anyone. And then, another friend, one of my high school friends, asked me what she could do, or I asked her, I don't remember, if she could just tell the high school friends that I told, because I just didn't want to talk to anyone. And then I am a champion, and I went to school and taught the next day, and I am so proud of myself, because that sucked, but I don't know, I am proud that I did it, and that's great. Yeah, and I had the D&C, I don't know, a while later, and going into the D&C, the nurse was like, we have to take a pee test because we don't want to do any procedures if you're pregnant. And I started crying, and then I had to watch that nurse get yelled at by another nurse for asking the question, which was embarrassing. And they put you to sleep for the D&C, and I woke up just feeling gross and sad. And then I was out of work for a couple days to heal up, and my two of my best friends, my sorority sisters, who are in 2 different states, got together on the phone while one was at Target, and they sent me this giant care package of stuff to try to make me feel better and to have while I was healing up for the D&C. And while I was sitting at home after the procedure, I started to actually look at the research behind miscarriages, and I found out that 1 in 4 pregnancies ends in miscarriage. Probably even more than that, since many miscarriages happen before anyone knows they're pregnant. And I just felt so kind of lied to. There were so many opportunities for me to have learned this, or for this to be shared with me, and it didn't happen. Anyway, I had no idea. I thought miscarriages happened when people were unhealthy or making unhealthy choices. And I guess they can happen in those instances too. But sometimes miscarriages just happen, and part of a healthy reproductive system is miscarrying. If something isn't right with the fetus, That's what your body is supposed to do. And I don't know. I was getting really sad at the idea that so many women feel ashamed, and so we don't share about the miscarriages, but then we don't share. So another woman goes through a miscarriage and has never heard about someone else having a miscarriage, so they feel ashamed and alone and don't want to share. So I decided to post on my Facebook page about my miscarriage just because I don't want anyone else to feel like I felt. I don't want anyone else to feel alone. I want people to feel like they have a person that they can talk to about this kind of thing. So I posted on my Facebook about my miscarriage, and it was sad but incredible in its own way how many people had also gone through miscarriages. People my age, the friends of, or the moms of my friends, just reaching out to also tell me their story so I didn't feel alone. And honestly, just like people telling me that I was strong for sharing made me feel really good. And like when I have hard days still, I mean, it's been like 5 or 6 months since my miscarriage, and sometimes I still go back to that post and look at people who tell me I'm not alone and that sharing was a good thing to help me out. So, I don't remember what else I wanted to say. Her channel name is Glitter and Groceries, and I really want to thank her for the video that she did about her miscarriage, because she's a little bit younger than me, and to watch her be strong helped me now feel like I can be strong. And I also really want to thank Lydia Sen, because she just gave birth to her rainbow baby and shared about that on her channel. And while she was still pregnant, I was having issues with this pregnancy, and I reached out to her on Instagram, basically, yes, a complete stranger, but I watch her on YouTube, so I feel like I know her. And just told her what was going on with my pregnancy, and she just gave me help. She just was like a kind ear to listen and gave me advice, and even, like followed up with me later. And I just want to appreciate those two people and other people on YouTube who take the opportunity to do something positive for other people. And I hope that if you're in the place of having a miscarriage or you're worried about your pregnancy, you just know that it doesn't make it feel any better, but sometimes it happens and you're not alone, and it doesn't make it go away, and it might not make you feel any better, but there are people out here to listen to you who have been through the struggle before. Anna and Hillary, my best friends who sent me the care package, they just loved on me and texted me even though I wasn't texting back, and were just so concerned about my feelings, and then sent me this giant junk food filled magazine pile, just awesome care package, just to show me that they love me. So, and all my friends and my family. Oh my god, and Pat. Oh my god. Like, a hero. Like, I can't even put into words how supportive he is in general, but just getting through something that was so difficult for him too, for him to have to experience that loss, and he just spent all that energy supporting me. So, moral: be strong. You're not alone, and if you can't be strong, you could lean on others to support you to be strong. And that's all I got. Bye.